Hello and Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Sanam Azim on behalf of everyone here at the Pakistani American Friends of Atlanta. Welcome to an exciting conversation with the Honorable Abrar H. Hashmi, Consul General for Pakistan in Houston. Consul General Hashmi, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you very much, Sanam, for having me. Dear I, Durust I, it took us some time, but COVID has been such an extraordinary times that I have planned thrice, as you know, but couldn't come over. Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome, sir, and thank you for taking your precious time. I know even today was a really busy day for you. We really appreciate you taking this time. So we would like to start off with a brief introduction for you, sir, so our community here in Atlanta can get to know you a little bit. Consul General Hashmi, along with the Consulate of Pakistan in Houston, serve Pakistani communities in Texas, as well as 9 other states, including Oklahoma, New Mexico, Louisiana, Arkansas, Colorado, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, and of course, Georgia. Mr. Hashmi is a career diplomat. Before joining as Consul General in Houston in 2019, he held important assignments in Pakistan as well as missions abroad. He was the acting High Commissioner of Pakistan to Canada, Counselor Political at High Commissioner for Pakistan in New Delhi, Second Secretary in Beirut, Lebanon, and the Republic of Cyprus, as well as Third Secretary of Embassy of Pakistan in Kuwait, where he also learned to speak Arabic. At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Islamabad, his roles included Director General of Protocol, Director for Kashmir and India, and he also helped craft Pakistan's e-visa process. He's fluent in Arabic, English, Urdu, and Punjabi. Wow, that's quite a resume and a stream of experiences, sir. And actually, this is exactly where we would like to get started. We'd like to know what inspired you to join Foreign Service.
Thank you, Sanam, for this lavish introduction. I'm humbled. Secondly, Foreign Service of Pakistan, as we all know, is one of the outstanding service. And those stalling figures like Agha Shahi, like we have Sahibzada Yaqub Khan, we've adopted him from another profession. And then we had people like Niaz Naik, people like Riaz Muhammad Khan, people like Salman Bashir. We have all inspired, and I'm so lucky to have few of them as my bosses, especially I mentioned Mr. Salman Bashir, and also Jalil Abbas Jilani, who has also been ambassador here. Basically, Foreign Service of Pakistan inspires you. One, that I love traveling. To be honest, I love traveling, going to those cultures. That fascinated me all along, and that was one of the reasons that I joined. And then it is so proud moment that you represent your flag, you represent your community, you represent your state, and you meet so amazing people around. And if I may also say, you rub your shoulders with the celebrities of any country you go to. And my experience has been fascinating. This journey has been so rewarding, educating, and also imparting that I would say a required set of skills, which as a Foreign Service officer, once I was posted to Beirut, they had put me in the deeper side of the pool. So I was dealing virtually with everything, and I was heading the mission for a while, as that was my first political posting. And from there on, I loved it. And that was the big inspiration. And now whatever we do with that in mind, and also the needs of the time, that is so important, that Foreign Service of any country feeds back. Now that it is a global village, but think of 2 to 3 decades ago, they were the ears and eyes of the respective countries, and they're still so, because while 95% of information is available, there's that 5% link missing. That link we provide as Foreign Service, and we are the first line of our defense and the face of the nation. I think this is enough, and I can speak on Foreign Service. That's my passion.
Well, it sounds like a life full of adventure, and at the same time, you get the brunt of it, of all of it.
Absolutely.
So we thank you, sir, for dedicating.
Sometimes the flax of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the flax of it also, because you have to defend something that others don't really buy it, and you still have to convince them that this is what we believe in, this is what we know. For example, I give you an example in the US-Pakistan relations context. Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, has always been saying all along that there's no solution to Afghan import PO. There's only talks. And finally, once we were saying that, they were not buying it. Today, they bought that. So there are those frustrating moments also.
It certainly sounds like it. I'm sure we can have this conversation for hours on, and sounds like you have some wonderful stories to share. And hopefully when you visit Atlanta, we'll have a broader audience in person, and we would all love to hear more about that. The next thing, sir, some of the things people here in the community would like to know in Georgia especially is currently, what are some of the services that the consulate in Houston is offering?
Sadam, allow me to say thank you very much for you as a point person, focal person in Pakistani American Friends of Atlanta and other organizations. You've done a wonderful work. I know there's a vacuum in a sense that we are not present there. It is far off, and there's a sizable community there. And I should admit that we have not been often available as we should have been in Georgia, especially to our community. The services which we provide is of course, the consulate is here to represent Pakistan interest in general. So that's one. If you come on the customer side, we provide visa to US nationals and of course, Pakistani heritage Americans, or you may call American Pakistanis. We also provide services to all those who are here in US on legal residence. We give them visa, we give them passport to those who are still on PR or visiting. We give the legalization of documents, which is power of attorney, any other document which is required, any document which is signed by any authority in United States is legalized by this consulate for the purpose of its use in Pakistan, whether it is a document relating to property, personal document, or commercial interests. And coming to commercial interest, we have a commercial section here, which looks after the all 10 states. I have a officer. She joined us almost 8-9 months ago, just pre-COVID. And Shaista covers the commercial side in investment, trade, and other commercial interests of Pakistan or Pakistani exporters or US importers. And then we also provide other services. For example, God forbid, somebody is in trouble at the airport, in jail, or any other site, and we come to the aid. That's a legal demand of the person to tell my consulate. For example, somebody gets into some problem. So we get there for his or her aid. And then we also provide consultancy or information services on many things. For example, we are just going through COVID. And you were partner in that. Once we had the stranded Pakistanis, we had a huge operation wherein we have taken back almost, there were 1,600 plus registrations with us. And each one, 1,600 means 1,600 families. They were all impacted. And also with the community, we also do advocacy kind of things. For example, what Pakistan now wants, what Pakistan's policies are. And we stay connected with the community, and we also provide them any service which they want. For example, they have something to do in Pakistan, there's some dispute, there's some problem, some legal issues, traveling, they had some troubles. So we are the first stop shop, and we're all in one, whole of government.
You do a lot. There's so much that goes into it. I can't imagine the types of challenges you have run into due to the pandemic and how it's limiting your services and also limiting the community, reach to you and just being able to expedite certain requests. I'm sure that's a challenge. How have you dealt with that so far?
Okay, it is, Sanam, of course, as you know, it's unprecedented. The challenge was huge, extraordinary. And once I say in its literal meaning of the word, it was unprecedented. We have never seen it before. So we were faced with a number of new things, issues. For example, there were people who were stranded, and all of a sudden there was uh, cancellation of flights. For example, that was immediate impact. Second impact, which was in second wave, the how to deal with the services, how to still provide them service and stay safe. Also, there was a lockdown, so we had already moved number of services online. We have our visa online, we have our passport online, and we also had NICOP already online. So what we did in addition to it is that we immediately instituted a system wherein people could work from home and still stay connected. So I diverted all the phones at office to respective mobiles of all officials who were dealing with these matters. So at least the anxiety level, which was very high, that can also come down. So we were also working round the clock. We used and leveraged social media, for example. We made uh, WhatsApp groups, we made email groups, we sent out information, we put information on our website. For example, you still can see few letters signed by me saying that, okay, COVID has come, please stay protected, listen to CDC, listen to what your health authorities and civic authorities are saying. And with respect to the consulate, here are the emergency lines. You can call us, and these are the services which are online. Stay home till the time it is essential, it is unavoidable, only then come out. We had kept our office running with two people at a time in office, and one of the officer would also always come over and see the things how we can slowly shift them online. And then we had a stage where passports would come in, and people's passport were expired. We will extend them there and then. Government has allowed us to extend a passport um, which is recently expired. For example, it was expired in, let's say, November, December, January of last year. So we could extend that. So enabling people to travel. We also issued a lot of emergency passports. People couldn't come, so we issued them emergency passport, which is a single sheet passport, which we issue for one travel, so that they can join back their families. There were students who were stranded, whom we have sent out, for example, as you know, uh, means to higher places because dormitories were closed. We have Community has helped them. We co-opted resources, and community has been tremendous support. For example, you people have been doing a lot. I know Florida people have really gone to the doorsteps and delivered food and medicines. For example, what they call subscribed medicines were not available to many people who were visiting. And there were people who came here for medical treatment, and all of a sudden they found themselves out of hospital. And these were those literally times full of anxiety. We held on. We opened our lines of communication, multiple lines of communication. I was available almost 18 hours of a day, and whosoever could call me, and I was on the group also. So this is how we managed it. And finally, once the flights resumed, we coordinated with Qatar Airways, and then we also had PIA flights, And Alhamdulillah, that phase is over, and we dealt with it. And now we are in living a new normal, which is COVID normal. And you see that we are uh, addressing each other from a distance, and this is a silver lining.
Absolutely, sir. And you actually also answered my follow-up question, which is, how has the consulate also been contributing within the local community as far as helping with the pandemic? And if you'd like to elaborate more on that, you're welcome to, but it sounds like you actually did answer that question on just in general on not just the consulate in Houston, but sounds like everyone, everywhere, all the consulates, you have been absolutely insanely busy, working around the clock, helping the people of both Pakistan and people of Pakistani American heritage, and doing an amazing job at that. So congratulations for staying on top of this and helping all of us.
Thank you. I must also say here that community in Houston came out strong. The best of them has come to the fore in this challenge. How? Some of these community organizations, they approached me just in early March, mid-March. They said, oh, this situation is coming, how to deal with it. So there was an idea, we debated, we consulted each other, and we came out with that, okay, consulate will, because there are organizations who have their own expertise. I will not say they were divergent, but they have their own expertise. And all these resources had to be pooled. So what we did, we made an alliance for disaster relief, COVID-19, here in Houston, in Texas. So all these organizations, they chipped in. Initially, there were 5, but then we had almost a conglomerate of 13 organizations, and all of them, they joined together. I give you just some glimpses of it. Mayor of Houston had PPE drive, which is personal protective equipment, and there was only one community which was on the stage. That was Pakistani.
Wow.
We contributed. It was not huge, $25,000, but we contributed. We went to Mayor of Sugar Land, Fort Bend County, Harris County. Then these mosques, I encouraged them that why don't you use this space for drive-through testing of COVID? You know, they have huge space and mosques are closed. So we provided, I'm thankful to ISGH, Islamic Society of Greater Houston, and other religious-based organizations. They have done a tremendous work, and they opened their gates to the communities living around and providing them an easy space for drive-through testing. Food drives, I must mention here, there's an organization here, Ibn Sina. They have done a tremendous work. And they went into 2 things, the food drive, and then they subsequently went into testing. It's a community clinic. And then there are people who have contributed, I must say Javed Anwar, Tahir Javed, people like so many of them, they've contributed in different ways. There is a doctor here, his name is Dr. Asim Shah. He was at the forefront every day. He will come out and send out some information, how to manage your anxieties, what's going on. So these all, and there's another organization, they had truck load of water. You know, there was shortage of water.
Yeah.
So they provided at Pakistan Center 2 truckloads of water and rice and food. So this all organization, once we gelled together, we became an example, which was even quoted by State Department. I'm receiving those accolades on behalf of the community from these across party divide, from the civic leadership, and from political leadership, of course, and the community leaders. And then we went into Ramzan, virtual Ramzan. That was the first ever iftar where it was virtual. 2,000 people were served out of a drive-through restaurant. And Mayor of Houston, and this innovative idea which came out was so appreciated that it is, again, there's no example of it. And then we also did another very innovative thing with the community, of course. After this iftar, we went into Eid gift drive, where there are impacted families in Ramadan and after Ramadan for Eid. So ICNA Relief went into it. And of course, we joined in and we also contributed, and other organizations contributed. We were able to serve over 1,000 people with their trunks load of food, gifts, and other all new items. And this is again a contribution by the community. So we have done tremendous work. You see, we were on media almost every second week, and that was picked up by mainstream media in Pakistan and here in Houston and Texas, and it was being quoted as an example.
Well, that's exceptional service by the Houston community, facilitated by you, of course. How incredible when the Pakistani American community shines just through good work. And, you know, this is something we actually do every day. It just doesn't get highlighted. And so this was an incredible opportunity for all of us to do whatever we could. And congratulations to you and to all the people in Houston who collaborated and helped during the pandemic. So big applause for everybody. Moving
So
on.
kind. No, I'm so proud of them. And you see, these celebrated values, as you said, rightly said, we do it daily, but these have to come to the fore. So, celebrated values of hospitality, sacrifice, philanthropy, coming out and putting yourself in danger, being at the forefront. I'll send you a few clips of the leadership here, the political leadership here, and few tweets. You see them point blank. They're saying, okay, this is the community which stood with us at the front line, and so much so that political leaders would call us and say, hey, we need some help in this area, can you do something? So we will co-opt resources of the community and go with a bang in that community, and would serve 2000 plus people. And still there would be things which would leave there. This was huge. I would say, literally, it was huge, and they made us proud. And this whole contribution, I think it was plus $1 million, which
Oh,
people have come out, and this is all in cash, and there is a lot in kind.
that's absolutely amazing. Um, we can only feel inspired by the community in Houston and the leadership. Of course, you're part of that. And we please do share the tweets that you mentioned and the information. We would love to see here in Atlanta to
I
see
will send you.
how we can learn from their experiences and do better here.
In fact, that's what my request is from you also, because you have done a lot. We are publishing a special edition, basically cataloging all these services as a record, and also for people who will come after, God forbid, something of the sort comes. I pray that those who are in COVID and being impacted, may Allah give them quick recovery, and they are not impacted, and we don't come across such a pandemic ever. But there are situations which can come, like hurricane, have been very frequent because of climate change, which I'll not talk much about, though I have done my master's in water politics. So then, coming down to the things which you people have done, it is tremendous. uh, and then we can put them together, and maybe which we are thinking to send out a special edition of this community, and this can be replicated not only here in US, but I would send it to all Pakistan missions wherever they are, so that they can replicate, they can learn few of the things. There are different circumstances, but still there are relevance, a lot of relevance of many things we did here. The virtual iftar, for example, the drive-through in the malls, people joining in, contributing it, then that enthusiasm has multiplied and taken many people out of anxiety,
Mhm.
and also co-opting the community resources, putting them together and making them available to each other, and then they could talk. And I felt through, there were many people who were, for example, not in need of anything, but they had huge anxiety. So by understanding what's going on, and from their fellow uh, community members or citizens, they've been able to communicate. That's what we did, and I think these are few of these things have universal relevance.
Absolutely. Mental health has been impacted severely during the pandemic. And excuse me, it's amazing to know the contribution that our community has made to help those dealing with mental health issues. So thank you for that, Houston. This is so amazing to find out all the work that's being done in Houston, and we look forward to hearing more about that. So,
Inshallah.
sir, next question we have for you is, what's the best way for our community here in Georgia to reach out to you, whether it's for an emergency or just a general question, just in general, what's the best way?
Thank you, Sanam. This, I was coming to this, and you as an experienced person, you know what you're asking. That's what I was heading to. Basically, you see now the new norm is on digital platform. We are trying to improve and be in step with the demand, but as you know, uh, the supply comes behind the demands. Uh, that Having said that, we have instituted a three-layer system here at the consulate. One is the usual one, the telephone. If it is not answered, please, we have a small little technology which somebody told me and I did it here, is you can leave your message which will come in an email to the respective person whom you're addressing that. So we have tweaked it in a way that this becomes an email also, and a missed call. Then the second one, and I think this is the most appropriate one, send us an email. Send us an email, because email, we can respond to it, or should I say, in a time once we're not dealing with people who are on site, because those who are on site, they have the first priority. Sometimes we may not be able to take your phone. And email also leaves us with details. We can understand what is the issue. And third is, if you're in an emergency, please use our emergency line, which is 24/7, 989-4208.
We'll make sure that it's in the video, the information for the email address, the website address, as well as the phone number to reach the consulate.
Absolutely. And then we also put out the most important information here on this pop-up. For example, we have said mandatory COVID-19 RT-PCR required prior to travel. Starting 5th October, all international travels to Pakistan will require a negative COVID-19 that has to be taken within 96 hours of the travel date.
Okay.
And if you want the form, the link is given there. And then we have put on the top the telephone number, the holidays, and everything. And we've also said which states we are covering. So anybody who is from these states can come. And there's a special tab at the end of the website, which is a COVID tab, and it is, giving you a red, and all COVID related information is also given here. So basically, this is a good resource. That is the third resource. So I can go in reverse. First, you see our website. You don't see anything, please call us or send us an email. Or it's an emergency, don't wait. Just call us on the emergency number, which is 832-989-4208. And you also have my direct number on the website. You go to my CV and you will see an email and one number. That is my direct number. So if I don't pick it up, it will go into a recording. Please record your message and someone will get back to you. And the last thing to getting in touch is, of course, in person. You're most welcome anytime, because that is also needed. Unfortunately, for power of attorneys, we are still not being able to overcome in-person presence, mandatory presence. That's how our courts have ordered, and we cannot help it. But for power of attorneys, once you're disposing of your property or any such thing, which is cash or movable or non-movable properties, you will have to come, because we need to see that you did it in our presence. And lastly, we will be coming to you very soon, inshallah.
Inshallah. I was just going to ask you, what are your plans on visiting Atlanta and giving us an opportunity to welcome you?
Okay, you're so good that you're linking these questions so well. So coming forward to a visit, COVID has, of course, stalled the visits, and we've not been able to see you in person. And now we are using this virtual platform. We hope to do it as early as possible as the COVID situation improves, or we are sure enough that we can still meet with those protocols in place. I hope to come anytime very soon and see you all. And we can also have a few of my colleagues and council staff who will come over and provide you service on the spot, inshallah.
Inshallah, we look forward to that day, sir. This is a very popular question. I'm sure it's not the first time you're hearing about it. In fact, we've been hearing about it for years. So I'll just go ahead and say it. Are there any plans in the future of having a consulate presence in Atlanta?
Okay, that's a good question. I was expecting it. One that we already have almost 4 consulates and 1 embassy, 5 missions in United States. It's a huge country, a country with huge promises, a country with huge Pakistani community and a very vibrant community. We need to serve them. there there is no denying the fact that Georgia is an important state and Atlanta is an important capital. And I know there are already number of consulates there uh, who are operating out of Atlanta. This is like a competition between the most two probables. For example, once they were opening Houston, it is the youngest of all the consulate Pakistan has in the US. So maybe Houston won because they were more in number. There were more Pakistani community here. But I agree with you. Georgia, Florida, they are also important states where there is good number of Pakistani community members, and that is one of the most driving, and then businesses. These two are the most important driving or consideration, so to say, for opening a consulate. There are discussions we had in the past to perhaps have an honorary consulate, perhaps have a council office, which is a complete representative, but not as a consul general level, but as a council level, whereas all the services are available, but there's one officer, or it's not full-fledged. It's headed by a relatively junior officer, but that's how some countries do. For example, if you see UK, they have their consulate general in Dallas, and they have their councils in Houston, and I think in one more cities here, maybe San Antonio, I think so. And like Mexico has it here. We had discussions, we had considerations, but this is something which is a bilateral issue. If you raise it, we need to have approval of the United States of America. We cannot decide on our own that we will have it, because anything which is diplomatic representation, it takes a lot longer, many more considerations, which is also reciprocity. For example, the United States is a country with huge resources, and it's a beacon of freedoms. And in that sense, they have been liberal, they have been open, and there are other ways also to complement representation. Uh, and I think that is where, in last many years, people have been looking at having an honorary consulate, for example. But again, it's not me to decide. I can suggest a certain way. Uh, for now, as the things are, perhaps we will be covering you for some time from Houston. And if I make a statement which is may not be politically correct, but if any other city out after these four consulates we have out of New York, Chicago, LA, and Houston, the fifth place, any fifth place which deserves to have a consulate is Atlanta.
Well, we appreciate
And
that, sir.
yeah, that is my understanding. But these are things which are, beyond my pay scale. Honorary council is a difficult process, even difficult than establishing a career diplomat.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why is it so, but it is, even in Pakistan, I know it is a difficult process, but it does not have any financial implications. Because honorary means honorary.
Sure. So you're
We are
basically
looking at all
asking
those
for
things.
patience.
And by the way, through your this interview and channel, I would also add that earlier there used to be one visit of Georgia per year. Now we already have two approved. We will be soon having, if the demand stays as it is, we might have 3 to 4 visits. So it used to be one, now there are two per annum, and we might have one or two more. Maybe we move one to Savannah. Maybe we will consult the community there. But as of now, from one we have two visits, and we can increase it to 4 also.
That sounds great, sir. Thank you so much for answering that. So one of the questions I'm curious about personally is you've traveled to so many places around the world and you've had so many varying experiences. Of course, Pakistan is your favorite country to be, but outside of Pakistan, which one would you say has been the most memorable experience for you as far as a stay?
Okay, if I answer this question in a very philosophical way, uh, normally what happens where you go first is your first love. I loved my first posting in Beirut.
Mm.
It was so fascinating. Beirut of those days um, was resurging, and it was a place which has attracted that year in 2004. They attracted over a million tourists, 1.24 million, I remember. And it was such a fascinating place and excellent food. People are so friendly. They had just come out, in fact, a decade ago from a civil war. They're still living under those conditions, but they were so lively. And also, I have a bias because that was my first posting, and that is your first love.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure the food was incredible.
Food is incredible. It is Mediterranean food and especially Lebanese uh, aesthetics. They really add on. This is a real fusion. If Lebanese friends are listening, they must be very elated to listen to. It is a fusion of the French finesse and rich Arab culture,
Mm. That
and
sounds
they really
amazing.
combine it so well.
We must all go visit and see what you mean and experience it firsthand, inshallah. Um,
Inshallah.
this has been an
Of course,
incredible.
every place was incredible. I must say, every place was incredible from so many different perspectives. There was a great learning in New Delhi, and I had first-hand experience of those issues. We often listen and a checkered history of our partition and independence movement and all that. And then Canada was amazing. Such a beautiful, vast country with a lot of natural resources and welcoming people, and their social uh, cohesion and the system. Kuwait was amazing with its, you know, all sprawling metropolis, and I would say their generosity also. Kuwaitis are also amazing people. And then Cyprus, I used to go, beautiful beaches, a lot of Brits are living there, enjoying their life. But again, unfortunately, it's a divided island. But once I was there, we could go to north also, to the Turkish part. And then Australia was amazing, natural resource and beautiful protection of environment. And so every place had its amazing, but my first love was Beirut.
Yeah, that sounds certainly like it. Well, this has been an incredible experience and conversation with you, sir. We appreciate your time and your experience and your knowledge, and also your insight into so many various issues. On behalf of everyone here at Pakistani American Friends of Atlanta, and on behalf of our Pakistani American community in general in Georgia, thank you so much. We are looking forward to giving you a warm welcome and your team, inshallah, soon, and we appreciate you very much.
So humbled, highly appreciative of your efforts overall, and thank you very much for hosting me. And looking forward to seeing you all very soon, inshallah. And
Inshallah.
Eid Milad an Nabi to everyone.
Same to you, sir. Thank you so much. Khuda Hafiz.